Hi, Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Kuat Piston Pro X bike rack on our 2023 Jeep Wagoneer L. Now this is going to be a great option for you if you need to haul a variety of different types of bikes, being from your carbon frame to your heavy e-bikes, and you want to do it safely, having your built-in lights installed too. What's going to give it that ability to hold your carbon and alternative frame bikes is going to be this dual wheel mount system we have on here. And that's just going to ratchet onto each tire, and we're not going to get any of that frame contact. We're also going to have a 67-pound weight capacity per bike, holding up the two of them. So we're going to be able to hold those heavy e-bikes too. And we're going to have a tote weight feature too. To activate that, we're just going to pull this lever. You might want to hold it up too, so it has a gradual tilt. And just watch out when you are tilting it, since you might have two bikes on here. You might have to squat down a little bit and watch your head. That'll give us the ability to open up our hatch. Now, we found that we had to kind of maneuver our pedals because when it does open, it gets really close. As you'll see just in a second. We'll barely miss our pedals, and we'll barely just miss our handlebars too. So if you have some really large handlebars on your bike, kind of keep that in mind. But this is going to be a great chance when you do have this open. You can get in here, either get ready, get your shoes on, or take anything else that you might need, whether it be groceries or when you're hitting the trails, maybe any of your gear like a helmet or any shoes too. But after when you've got everything out, you get out and shut everything back in place, and we can put our bike rack into the seated position. And all we have to do that is just lift up on it. It might be a little heavy too, if you do have your heavy e-bikes on here, so kind of keep that in mind. When we're taking off our bike, it's really simple. All you have to do is press down on these buttons that are on your piston. I like to maintain control of my bike just in case, at least for the first one. And I like to push this even further out of the way, so I don't have to deal with it. Now you could just roll it off and take it off that way, or you could remove the second one too, making sure you do have frame contact this time though. And with it released, we can just lift up on our bike and then take it for a ride. And with our bike off, we can kind of take a closer look at the trays themselves. When they have a couple divots here to accommodate different size tires, you'll be able to handle your skinny, standard, and 5-inch fat tires. And just make sure when you are done with everything, just close everything back up just by pressing down on this button, releasing that piston, allowing you to put this back down into the flush position. You'll also notice we have this tray here, or this point where our tire connects, and then you can actually raise and lower this, and that's going to help you adjust for different wheel sizes. But after when you've adjusted everything, you can put everything back down into its flush position, just like so. And if you notice in the center, we're going to have this locking core in this hole. That's going to be for our included bike cable lock that comes with our rack today, and that's just going to provide you extra security for your bikes. Now for how it sits on the back of our Wagoneer, if I go from our back bumper to the back of the carrier, that's going to be a little bit less than 28 inches, which isn't too bad. Just something to kind of keep in mind if you're in a tight spot, like a parking spot or a garage. Now, our ground clearance really stands out to me. As you can just see, this is pretty high up just in general. And when I measure it out now, that's going to be 30 inches. So there's not a lot of bike racks that sit up that high, so I would not worry about making ground contact. But if you want to save some space and your bikes are off, you can fold it up. We're just going to use that same tilting mechanism that we used earlier, just that lever, just to push up this time though. And it's going to sit fairly close to our car now, not too close, it won't make contact. And now it's going to save us a lot of space. Going from the back of our bumper to the back of the carrier, that's only going to be 13 inches. Now for how it's going to interact with the back of your vehicle, it's not really going to block a whole lot. It's going to maybe block a little bit of your license plate, and you might see it a little bit out of your backup camera, but you'll still be able to use it. But your taillights and back window won't be obstructed. Now, one of the nice things about this is if you are worried about people getting too close to the carrier, It does have those built-in lights, and you can even use things like your blinkers, whether it be your left or your right, and you can even use your brakes too. Now for how it's going to install in the Wagoneer, if you take a look at the bottom, we're going to have this 2-inch shank, and that's going to go right into your 2-inch hitch receiver. That's going to have a pin that goes through and connects to this locking core. That locking core is just going to add extra security so no one can come by and take it off, and it's going to use the same key system as your included bike cable lock. And at the very back of this, we'll also have this anti-rattle device that's built in. You have to use your included tool to tighten this down. And what I like about that included tool is it's actually integrated onto the rack itself, so it's really hard to lose. So it's actually going to be on the very top, right here, and you can actually just pull it right out and just use this. And then once you're done, just make sure you put it back on. And right next to where it installs, we'll see we have this wiring that comes from the rack to your vehicle. And this is going to use 4-pole wiring, and you have to use this if you want to use the lights. So if you don't have that installed on your vehicle, you're going to have to find a wiring kit, and you can actually find that on our website. Overall, this is going to be a great bike rack if you like those safety mechanisms that are built into it, those lights, letting people know if you're turning or putting on your brakes so no one gets too close. And just the fact that it can accommodate your heavy carbon frame bikes and a lot of other types of bikes too makes it a really good buy. Now if you're looking for something that performs very similar to this one but doesn't have the built-in lights but can carry even heavier bikes, I'd recommend the Ceres MHS. It's going to work very similar to this one, same dual mount design, only just carrying heavier bikes. But if you don't need to carry those really heavy bikes and you like that this one has the lights implemented on it, that thing's going to be a great option for you. If you liked everything you saw today, that was just a look at the Kuat Piston Pro X bike rack on a 2023 Jeep Wagoneer L.